What do you see 10, 20, 30 years for Saudi Arabia?
I will give you an example. If you look to late 70s, Saudi Arabia GDP is bigger than South Korea. And now South Korea, I think it's the 10th or 11th largest GDP in the world. So we believe if Saudi Arabia and really the perfect track, since that time, we will be among the top 7 GDP globally. I'm trying to get Saudi Arabia back on the right track.
And that was the Crown Prince. Joining us now, the Minister of Economy and Planning, Minister Faisal Alibrahim. Mr. Minister, thanks for being here. You know, this trip is about getting Saudi on the right track. You are doing these big deals with the U.S. The president characterizes it as $1 trillion worth of investment. How do you all see it here?
So, as you know, Brett, and it's a great pleasure, of course, to be here with you again. As you know, the kingdom's, embarked upon a journey to unlock its potential with Vision 2030. So many elements help the kingdom become prominent in terms of economic power. Mainly that has been coming from oil, but today it is a story about the power of diversification. New sectors that are related to tourism, culture, entertainment, and sports has resulted in a lot of growth and economic drivers and growth engines that didn't exist before. Everything from AI to technology to investments, accessing the great capital markets of the U.S. and the great opportunities in the U.S. to much more. We would love to be competitive in a large and vibrant market, and consumer market such as that in the U.S.
For people who haven't been here, this place has evolved dramatically. I mean, just in the 3 years since I've been here the last time, the percentage of GDP, non-oil percentage, has surpassed 50%.
Absolutely.
That's significant.
For the first time.
For an oil country, that's a big deal.
Yes, and of course, we're not over-celebrating that, but we're acknowledging this as a milestone. What we want to see is more non-oil exports growing, more non-oil exports as a percentage of our manufacturing GDP. We want to see user experience in the services side, especially on the tourism side, second to none. We still have a lot of work to do.
So when I talked to you back on my last trip, here's what you said.
Vision 2030 is about unlocking potential. It's designed to address our long-term economic challenges and risks through 3 things: diversifying the economy, empowering the youth of the kingdom, and building institutions that can help carry this beyond 2030. This is only an asset that we need to leverage, and it's about connecting energy, connecting data, connecting goods and services, connecting people, all for the betterment of the world at large.
To that goal, how important was this trip?
Today we saw from both speeches, from His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and from President Donald Trump, that there's a lot of common values or a lot of common approaches to addressing global challenges. We heard both leaders talk about peace and prosperity. We heard both leaders talk about dialogue, and we've seen what dialogue has led to in terms of the US and UK deal, US and China deal, and what the Saudi has led also through dialogue in the region to bring more stability. We're talking about prosperity, about investment, about the growth of the private sector, growth of competition and innovation.
There was some news out of that speech from President Trump, a number of pieces, but one of the big ones was that the Syrian president will be here tomorrow because President Trump announced that sanctions against Syria were going to be pulled. It seems like there is, and I saw the Crown Prince applauding loudly, so he's definitely for that. It seems like there is going to be an effort to bring Syria into the fold. Is that what you see?
The intent of the sanctions was to pressure the Assad regime to halt violence, support a democratic transition, and address security concerns. Though critics argue sanctions harm civilians more than the regime, exacerbating economic hardship. Following Assad's ouster in December 2024, some sanctions were eased to aid Syria's transitional government. But debates persist over their full removal due to concerns about the new leadership's ties to groups like Hayat Tahrir al-Sham.
The need in a country such as Syria for institutional capabilities to do the right thing. Institutional capabilities can be created through, they have a challenge with the institutions there. The kingdom has stepped in, and other countries in the region, to support Syria financially to go into some of the multilateral platforms. But something as strong and meaningful and material as lifting sanctions could help a country such as Syria to invest more capital in building the institutions they need to be a more stable country, but also bring more stability to the region and be a force for good.
You've been around these two leaders. They seem to have a great relationship.
From what I see is that there is a very strong partnership, and I feel that the friendship is strong and it's built on mutual respect.
They come from different generations. He's 39, he's 78, but they seem to get along. The Crown Prince, from my interaction with him last time, is nonstop. It's like a beehive of action for you ministers especially.
I see common values between both leaders, regardless of age and background, and I think that's one of the things that really brings this mutual respect into the public eye.
If you were to look into the crystal ball and see where Saudi Arabia is, 5, 10, 20 years, what does it look like? Right now, there's a lot of cranes on the horizon, as we notice.
So we want more sources of growth, and we want more channels for that flow to come into the economy. We want a private sector that's dynamic. We're a young population, but in about 20, 25, 30 years, we'll start the aging process. What we should look like at that stage is a government and a private sector and a third sector and academia that is leveraging fully generative AI and other technological tools towards productivity, but also that has created jobs for a lot of Saudis and has been able to, in the process, attract a lot of talent to come to Saudi to make Saudi Arabia their home.
Last thing, I've done a lot of stories about the evolution. What do you tell somebody who may still be skeptical about the kingdom?
Saudi Arabia is a long-term, reliable partner. If you ask anyone who has dealt with the kingdom, government, people, anyone who's visited here, you've visited here a few times already, you can feel that. You can see that this is a society that is strong, led by His Majesty King Salman, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed Salman. Saudi Arabia has always been and always will be a force for good, for innovation.
And it's growing fast.
Absolutely.
Mr. Minister, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much, Brett. Appreciate it.